Hi guys, I decided to end the countdown quicker because it's already 4 o'clock. But yeah, how are you all? I hope you're all doing well and that everything is holding up. We've got some pretty awful weather here at the moment, so yay. The lighting might be a bit intermittent because of that. I've got like my lights fully on, it's practically dark outside, all that good stuff. So today we are looking at Chat GPT, oh, it's not Chat, sorry, GPT 5.1 as a model. We want to kind of have a little look, compare. I've put in the Notion document my tests. So I'm going to send you all a link to that. If you want to have a look before we kind of like dive in. But I kind of wanted to kind of go over a few things, my observations, and then after that we can then like go into some experimentation. So rather than you seeing me do the same tests over and over again, we can kind of try out some new things. So back in August, we analyzed OpenAI's GPT-5 family of models. We saw that it was a big difference between like five and five chat, five nano, the smaller models. So we were kind of like, okay, I've now that the successor has come out, I'm gonna just look at the kind of the prime model. I feel that any shifts will be most noticeable in this, and I think it's the one that for writing prose, most writers will look at. Um, so yeah, on the surface, it kind of feels a bit of a minor version bump, 5.1. But as writers, we do know that even the smallest changes can have a big impact on our creative like workflow. Like when 5 came out, loads of people were like, no, don't like this. I want to go back to 4. So we're testing to see if it's like a worthy upgrade or if it's just more of the same. So I've spent some time yesterday and today, since we've got API access, testing it out, and the results are worth talking about. So we're doing this stream. Y'all are wanting to know. So because I'm going for simplicity, so I'm not going to look at the Codex or Codex mini versions. I'm just going to look at 5.1 kind of with no suffix. Just check. Oh well, yeah. Always look at the clock. We run like clockwork. We're very. I like streaming at the same time. But yeah, so I think the first thing you'll notice with 5.1 is the speed. It's incredibly fast, kind of like Gemini Flash feels. Um, the words kind of appeared for me as soon as I hit the button. Obviously, this might change depending on how busy it is, yada yada. But like compared to 5, so much quicker. Less time writing for the AI means more time for you to stay in the creative zone. So always a good point. And um, the they did make note of that in kind of like the GPT, 5.1 release, like that it is quicker in those kind of like initial loading stages or like when it's thinking. Um the prose itself still like with GPT-5 has a very distinct writing style. So I think it's going to be very much a depending on what genre you write in whether or not you would want to use this. It's snappier and a lot less verbose than like other models that I've worked with, like Claude, and snappier than 5 as well, I think. There's less kind of like chaff to trim, which is a huge plus if you want to add in your own descriptive flourishes, but it does mean more input from the author in terms of prose. So I would probably use this as like a framework, and then you could like build upon descriptions using expand, your laser tools, that kind of thing. Um, I also found in the tests that it was really good at subtext, like very nuanced. I won't share it on stream just in case trigger warnings. But I have put it in the Notion document if you want to read, but I cried. It's just a little bit sensitive about like family and children. So if you want to read it, then do. But it made redecorating a room make me actually cry. And I was not expecting that of GPT. And I was not very happy about that because I was crying. But I think if we do look at the subtext, when given more instruction, it does seem to be so much better at those kind of tests. So like if I go down to the original, um it's okay. Like, you'll notice as well, very much does not like its dialogue tags, which is good. I think if you want to add in those yourself, but it's very sparse, the text. So that's worth keeping in mind. Um, but as soon as we started going into kind of more examples, so I feel like GPT 5.1 is very good at taking direction. I did, however, find if I go up to the distinct character voices, whilst GPT-5 straight, like just 5, didn't seem to like, speech marks, and, like, when I was asking for this, it would just give everything as, like, sentences with no punctuation, or, like, punctuation but no speech punctuation. Um, this did go that. Um, and if I go into GPT-5, my tests there, I found that, um okay, so yeah, you can see here, there was a lot of, like, it was very hard to tell if who was saying what, like, it took a lot of thinking, whereas GPT 5.1 does seem to be, um, getting those shifts more. I've gotta find it. Um, I feel like you can even see, like, the different sentence lengths, the structure, it does feel better. It could be improved, but I did quite like the output. Um, like it had a bit of comedy to it. It felt nice to listen to, that kind of stuff. But there was still something lacking a bit in just it coming up with three unique voices on its own that I wasn't like super keen on. Um, but I'm now trying to think, trying to go through all my notes. I did find that when working on the same scene, different genres, I actually found that for the first time, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but so our prompt is Ashley walks into a bar and recognizes someone they haven't seen in 10 years. I purposefully kept Ashley as a gender neutral name because part of me wanted just to see if there was a bias in how the name was interpreted. Like, what did they always default to, a male or a female? You'll be pleased to know we have no Marcuses being the random person they're talking to. Um, but I had three of the four outputs actually respected the neutral pronoun that I gave, which wasn't my intention when doing this. I just wanted to see the genres to test, but I was not just, I was happy. Um, so yeah, I think it was just the romance that gave a gender to Ashley. But yeah, water from there, collar, scan the room. Yeah, so it has a female Ashley in this, but the literary, they shrugged off their coat, they scanned the room. I think we can see some things like brushing off the collar. There's some very like phrases that are coming up. I wouldn't necessarily call them AI-isms, but it's like, I guess, the same scene. It's got a pattern in mind. With these, I definitely go in and read them and take the time, but I found that the hard boiled and the thriller were the best. I think they suit GPT 5.1's writing style. Whereas the literary and romance were fine, but it felt a little bit terse and there was like a bit of a disconnect. Whereas I really liked the plots. and the conversation dynamics with the thriller and the hard-boiled detective. Um, I think it works the terse writing style. So with this test, I'm kind of like, okay, well, it's not that it is better at writing, or it's not that it can tell what the genre is and write in that genre. It's that certain genres, its natural writing style is defaulting to. And obviously, we've not given it any additional context, any guidance on what the genre is other than the word. But ideally, we would want it to take that and expand on it and kind of, take the word and use it. Um, I also found that when it came to the voice consistency challenge, so this is me giving it some prose from Only Dogs Left and being like, can you continue this? Um, Initially, 5.1 did a fantastic job. It felt very natural. Um, I don't know if there is an appreciable difference from 5. There's not a decline. When I sent some samples to different, writer friends, there was, no one could agree on which did it best. I sent it to multiple AI models, the different versions. There was, 4 versions, 2 of each, 5 and 5.1. So Mari and Lindsay, now, what I was sending, and they each preferred the 2 preferences they gave were 1 from each model. So that kind of was very interesting. And Claude, Gemini, and GPT, when given, had different orders all the time, for which they felt mimicked my writing style the closest. So that then made me start thinking, is there any merit to this? Like, is it actually mimicking my style, or is it that my writing style for Only Dogs Left is very in line with with what GPT outputs anyway. So, okay, I was like, right, I need to try a different story. I'm gonna go to The Wolf in Red. This is a story that I wrote via dictation this time last year. So this chapter, it's been edited a bit, but it's all Kate written, tidied up dictation. Um, there are some similarities in the writing styles, of course, with Only Dogs Left, but it's a little bit more um, descriptive. It kind of flows a bit more. There's um, more retrospect, contemplation, more backstory. It's less immediate in the section that I gave. And so I gave quite a lot of context. I think it's 1,000 words or something I put of the scene in. And then I finished it with Red moving through. And I was kind of like, okay, let's see how it does. She's in the woods. I've not given it any guidance. I asked for 400 words and I got 542 out. I found that actually in most of these tests, it didn't stick to the word count, which I think was a problem with GPT-5, not wanting to adhere. So that might be a thing of if you want to use this and you particularly care about the output, you might want to go in and be like, okay, let's tweak the prompt a little bit. Yeah. Have any of you tested 5.1? I realize I should have asked this at the beginning. Let us know in the chat or the comments below what your opinions of 5.1 are. And if your decision and what genre you write in, because I'm really curious to see if people's preferences are reliant on or are dependent on the genre and whether people like it or not. But yeah, so if we look at this, kind of even just looking kind of on a really surface level, not reading it, just scanning the paragraphs, you can see that there's kind of in my writing style, there's some bits of really long, not long, but multi-sentence paragraphs followed by a couple of sharp kind of one-liners, and then it'll kind of like bounce between them. And I feel like there is still some of that in here, although there's a lot more of those one sentence bits that I think it works because they are pulling from they're like the pace is increasing. It's pulling from kind of the context. Um I found that this did, because there is no other context other than the 1,000 words before, and I guess the knowledge of red, um, like the inherent knowledge of red. The the AI did pull a lot from the words before because there's no codex. But it's not bad. I really liked, the plot. It made a creature, a man rather than like a non-human creature. Um, Kind of like a demonic kind of thing. It gave a backstory to the cloak that I hadn't said. It's interesting. Um, I am very intrigued by this character. He feels very much like I get Shadow and Bone Darkling kind of vibes mixed with like I don't know. There's just like or mixed with like Lucifer vibes, like very much like a gravitas. Um, there was a it was a quite a nice character dynamic. Although it was creepy as hell. Um, but I was it made me curious, which I think is good. Like I enjoyed reading what came next. I would want to continue, which is always promising in a model, because even if the output isn't in a style you necessarily gel with, if the idea is good, then I think you're willing to spend the time kind of massaging it and getting what you want out of it. So that's kind of my opinion with this. I thought it's there's definitely a style inbuilt to it. It's got its own personality. It's much more suited to sci-fi or like thrillers rather than romance or history, but it can be massaged. I think if prompted, you could definitely get some more out of it. I'm kind of curious now what my thought was um now, unless anyone has any questions about anything that any of my thoughts regarding a specific thing, was to see how it did with writing an entire scene. So I'm going to take a detailed brief, give it a lot of codex information, and see what it can do with it, and then maybe see how changing the prompt might change the output. Is my kind of thought. Okay, Eric says, I have a little worked well with my noir detective series, but on par with Claude 4.5. We'll test out my Western later today. Yeah, I think if you've got a model you prefer, I don't think this update will switch you from it, but there's no reason to not use it over 5 if all else is the same. Like it is an improvement on 5. It's just not like gonna necessarily like pull you away from other things. So let's hop into I don't know if you remember this. This was again from last year, a story called, placeholder angrily healing lake. About there were different clades in the trees, like these like mile high trees, and different species that live at different levels, and kind of at the beginning of the story, Umnoth um, is involved in an incident and falls to the ground level, and it's kind of his journey getting back home. We did a lot of world building and brainstorming, and I've not actually written anything with it. So I thought, okay, well, I've got a codex, I've got a scene summary here. This is 3 scenes actually, and I was like, well, let's just see how GPT-5 does or 5.1 does. So I'm gonna give it. So I'm gonna go on here. I've given it a lot of codex entries. I'm gonna ask it to write 4,000 words. We'll see how it does. My opinion on the word count depends on how good it fills it. Like, if it's like, if it just tries to fill words to get to that word count, then obviously it's not as good. If it continues on the story, it's not great, but I wanna see what it does. I wanna give it room. So I'm gonna go GPT 5.1. Okay, Eric says, it wasn't that much of a difference to make me switch. Now I'm curious how well it does with military sci-fi. Yeah, try it out. I think, like, as well, like, depending on who your point of view character is, that might make a difference. It's hard to know sometimes. So yeah, let's generate. I mean, and now it'll be that it's like really slow and doesn't do anything, but sh- oh, okay. So we've got some, and now it's writing. It's going very quick. Um, so just to give you all a little bit of context of with this scene, what happens is I wanted it to set the world, like do world building, because you have to kind of do that. There's I wanted to show an opening image to be showed through action. With like there's multiple suns, bands of UV and color. It's very evocative. Like I wanted like a very like beautiful image seen through this kind of arrogant protagonist. I want to kind of set the yeah, just kind of set the scene. It's a solo flight. He's just kind of like vibing, and then there's a solar flare alarm. He snaps into action, comes back, and we then start seeing him in his everyday life and how he interacts with other people. We get to see Omnoth's twin sister Urmnoth, and see their interactions. I've made some whilst they're not mentioned in here, it's only Omnoth and Urmnoth. I've added some more Solari characters to see how the AI kind of weaves them in. Um, so yeah, this is a very like detailed brief, but I kind of wanted to see with throwing it in there how does the AI do? Um, so I apologize if in advance. Okay, so we've gone over 4,000, but let's see by how much. 10% is normally my like tolerance. Um, I might be a little bit quiet to start with, but I'm curious. So we should all like give our critiques on it together. So like let me know your thoughts as we're going, please, so that we've got something to vibe off. Oh, Jean-Luc says, I use both GPT-5 and Sonnet 4.5 and do some kit bashing, testing 5.1 now. Brilliant. Let us know what you think. Okay, this has gone way over the word count. Okay, let's just start reading. Okay, so already I'm looking at this and this is very um different to what we saw when it was being given words before. So that is really interesting. I find that fascinating. It's gone very wordy. And like I've not used wordy descriptors. I've used bullet points. Okay, so 6,000 words. Kind of cool for one input. So I'm very curious. Um Sai says, finally catch one of these lives. I have to say my experience 5.1 does a much better job than the previous models. I'm really happy with the update. Cola, yes, GPT-5 is moderated. But I think GPT moderation's a little bit weird. I am if you go through OpenRouter, there's some other there's slightly less strict moderation. Yeah, GPT 5.1 seems to be more wordy, and I'm really surprised, but like instantly, the fact that I'm getting paragraphs this long is very surprising to me given the test that we just saw. So it's yeah, I'm very curious. So the first sun caught on the far crowns before Umnoth moved. Cold light brushed the canopy. I'm not going to read all 6,000 words. A thin violet line across the edges of leaves and shield membranes. The second sun climbed after, thicker and more golden, and the whole upper forest answered. Petals of living glass unfurled from the outpost ribs. Membranes slack from the night drew tight, webbed arcs stretching between branch spines. Panels of woven leaf and metal drank light. Oh, woven of panels of woven leaf and metal drank light and set it into the tree with soft rising hum. Almost stood at the launch rail and watched the spread. He rolled his shoulders, wings unfurling. The upper pair caught the new light and turned it along their length. The lower pair twitched, impatient. No keeper at the rail, no rotation bell, no one to drag through drills. Perfect. Okay, I've also realized I forgot to add, I think, a. Oh, no, I haven't. I did give it a point of view. That's good to know. Yeah, it's very wordy. Um, Fine, I'll log my own excellence. Okay. And it's pulled up from the codex. So here, mirror tracks, coordinates rotations. So it's pulling in the characters, so that's good. Um, Maybe a little bit on the nose. Nictitating. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure about some of these terms, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like this first scene could be shortened a bit, but it's a very different style to the previous, stuff with, Only Dogs Left. Let's have a look. Okay, so we get back here. Um, I can feel the vibes. I Once it's getting into conversation, it definitely does speed up. There is some pacing. I feel like hmm, this might be then something that I'm like, "Okay, we wanna try something a little shorter." So what I'm gonna do is hide this in the word count. I'm gonna make a new scene beat, and I'm just gonna put my original summary from the chapter here. Um, and I'm going to try. Let's ask for 2,000 words. If it's gonna go over, let's try and kind of like tame it a little bit more. Um, Kind of play around with it a little bit. Um, yeah, it's repeating the name a lot. Okay, so John Luke says, just tested scene. GPT wrote 800 words, GPT 5.1, 1,800 words. How many words did you ask for, Jean Luc? Um, Dylan says, I gave Claude 3 two-page documents to merge and organize for me and some background welding and got 25-page document out of it. Wow. I had so So you're saying that GPT 5.1 might be better at like following instructions? Although this is perhaps not indicative of it. Um, but I love using AI. I think AI sorting out through notes is like one of the best kind of ways to use it. Okay. Oh, so nictating must was a word I'd given. Okay. I'm curious. I'm just gonna give it a bit of time. So this is already a little bit better, but I think having the fewer words has given it a constraint. It's forced it to be a bit shorter, but oh my god, it's still going. This doesn't mention Olmoth as his name that much. Does it even? Okay, yeah. I'm seeing some kind of like feel things that feel a little bit AI-y. But okay, so we asked for 2,000 and we got 4,000. So it's doubled it. Um okay, so it's invented names as well, but that's fine. They feel roughly like they've followed the naming convention. Uh I'm not totally feeling this, but it's kind of we're getting a bit more of the I feel like when it's got more words to write, it really will write. Hmm. I feel like it's a bit on the nose, and this might be just like an issue of me not giving it enough instruction and just letting it kind of flow wild. Could be a 5.1 thing. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how good Gemini 3 will be. Um, yeah. What do we want to test next, guys? I'm kind of like a little bit underwhelmed with when getting like a long thing. I need to make a note of that. I mean, I'm very excited to play with Gemini 3 Pro. Maybe we could see how well it follows instructions. I guess. Let's let's get rid of boop. Um, oh, this doesn't. It made up names because it doesn't have all the context. That's why. Lol. That's my bad. Um, let's just do this last little bit. I'll add in context of entries by tag, Solari. Just add in other characters. Let's give it 600 words. And I'm going to add in some instructions. Oh, what's 5.1 like with brainstorming? Yeah, I will check. OpenAI specifically said 5.1 is better at following instructions, so I'm curious to see if it actually is. I haven't yet tested that personally. Um, um, stay close to the personality of Umnoth and write through his Um, oh, filter. He is arrogant and young, foolhardy, better slash improving his world, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually want 600 words. I'm just kind of curious as to how many it does for this scene. I'm going to add in the Solari can communicate telepathically with family members, provided they are close enough. Use italics to show mind telepathic communication. I'm doing this to see if it will do that. Like, it's an instruction that we can easily test if it's followed. And then we can do some brainstorming and test it for that. Bit of purpley prosy could do with shortening, but okay. I mean, it's okay. It's done the follow the instruction for like thoughts. I wonder how if it over explains it or if it just no. It's kind of gone in very subtly. Put it in. I mean, it's gone way over 600 words. But you know, that is life. Interesting. I'm not feeling it. Like, it's okay. It's not doing anything like major to make me excited. I'm kind of curious now whether like just I'm gonna test it with another AI model just to see. Alright, let's go Mr. Medium. I mean, it's following the words nearer at least, but oh hi baby, are you okay? Um I don't know. Yeah. Jean-Luc says, I asked on Claude for help and it's mixed, preferring GPT-5 sometimes than 5.1 other times. Yeah, I feel like it's very situation dependent. I don't feel like there's enough of a difference to really be able to make a opinion. And I think that's the issue. Like there's just not enough. Um let's go new model tests. And chat. Let's do some brainstorming. We'll just stick GPT 5.1. I want to write a story about what do we want to write a story about? An anti-hero on an anti-hero alien on Earth who accidentally becomes famous after saving someone. He was only intending to grab his son. The saving was a byproduct of something he wanted. Give me 10 pictures of premises for this story. Okay, so Eric says that he said, give me 3 different sci-fi story ideas centered around a 3-person space salvage team in this form, tagline, premise, logline. And Mitchell said, if I target a word count, I have to use a verification loop like Nate Jones teaches. This often leads to a redraft. Both GPT 5.1 and Sonnet need this extra prompt piece. Yeah, I think, yeah, I find sometimes it's just easier not to care about the word count and just make sure it tells everything. But yeah. Okay, so let's see how it does with ideas like creativity, because it's a fairly closed loop prompt. So I'm kind of curious how different these 10 ideas are. So a grumpy alien fixer hiding on Earth and running an illegal tech repair stall in the back of a 24/7 convenience store causes a small explosion while trying to retrieve a stolen alien device from a mugger. The blast knocks out an armed robber about to shoot a cashier, and the security footage goes viral as masked hero saves store. Overnight, the alien becomes an urban legend. He only wants his device back and to keep a low profile, but every time he tries to clean up the mess, he accidentally stops more crimes and becomes more famous. Okay, so that's very, like, comedy. Failed kidnapping of a pop star. An alien bounty hunter is on Earth to capture a runaway prince who is hiding as a human pop idol. During a chaotic backstage abduction attempt, the hunter's disabling tech malfunctions, disarming an actual human stalker with a gun instead. The audience and media see it as a dramatic, heroic rescue. The pop star's career blows up even more, and the alien is framed as his mysterious guardian angel. The alien still wants to complete his mission, but every kidnapping attempt keeps being misread as life-saving heroics. Okay, I can kind of see that ending up being like a accent like rom-com vibes. Like they end up for bodyguard. I don't know. I could feel that. The anti-hero Uber driver. A broke alien stuck on Earth works as a rideshare driver to fund a ship repair. One night, he uses his cloak drone to hack city traffic lights to get a VIP passenger to the airport faster. He's promised a big cash chip. The diverted traffic accidentally blocks a runaway truck from plowing into a crowded crosswalk. Street cameras and dash cams capture the miracle save. People think some genius vigilante hacked the system to protect citizens. The alien just wants good ratings and cash, but the city starts hunting for the traffic guardian while he's trying to stay off every radar. Okay, not feeling that one as much, but kind of funny. Supervillain's roommate. An alien weapons engineer is secretly selling tech to a human would-be supervillain, planning to use the money to escape Earth. During a messy test run, the alien remotely shuts down his own weapon before it overloads, purely to protect his investment. The resulting energy shield accidentally deflects a terrorist bomb across town, saving hundreds of lives. The media credits the unknown shield as a heroic act. Now governments and corporations are desperate to find this savior tech, while Alien just wants to keep his villain client alive long enough to get fully paid. Yeah, it's really liking the comedy angle. The alien is a thief after a powerful artifact in a museum that's actually a lost piece of his crash ship. He triggers the fire alarm to clear humans out so he can steal it in peace. The alarm forces an evacuation just minutes before a hidden gas leak causes an explosion. Security footage shows a shadowy figure pulling the alarm. Everyone calls him the Guardian in the hoodie. He wanted the artifact, the saving was accidental. Now the museum and the public adore him and offer a massive reward for his identity, making it harder for him to come back and finish the job. The black market doctor. Hiding in a bad part of town, the alien runs an underground clinic, not for charity, but because human biology is fascinating and he's selling the data off world. To collect rare data on extreme trauma, he manipulates a gang confrontation, hoping for serious injuries. Instead, his interference causes a stray grenade to bounce into an abandoned building instead of a packed nightclub. He ends up saving hundreds by accident. Word spreading this mysterious doctor who's always where disaster strikes. He really just wants better research subjects when people start worshipping him as a guardian angel. These are all really funny. A bit grittier. The alien has superhuman abilities that lead to this rather than some mistake. Like it has to be repeatable. Yeah. Okay, let's see how this goes. School busser. Oh my god, a cynical alien con artist trying to hijack a satellite signal. By accident, he causes a cascading traffic jam that stops a drunk driver from hitting a school bus. It's like, how would people even know that? Like, okay. An alien ex-enforcer hides in a dirty human city working as a debt collector for a local crime boss. He has a field of crushing pressure he can turn on, making bones creak and guns bend. During a collection, he increases the pressure to scare a man into paying, and a floor above him, a hostage taker suddenly collapses, his gun folding in half. The hostage runs free, and the phone videos of the invisible force hitting the hostage taker go viral. Um, so his power's just doing it without his... Okay. Um, So it's a bit more vigilante. Okay, so he's kind of doing it. Okay, smugglers. He phases through them too, breaking bones and guns as he keeps moving with his crate. Security operative capturing the kid's point of view. His favorite safe routes run through the worst parts of the city. Okay, so he saves people. Okay, so then that's him actually becoming a superhero. Okay. Alien contract killer. These are okay. They're it's following the prompt. It's doing all right. There's nothing that's really like exciting me though. The media calls him the firewalker. He calls humans walking trash that keep getting in his way. I mean, that's kind of interesting, the silent tracker. Like, there are some promising ideas. It's getting ideas. I don't know if it, um yeah, like, it's alright. I feel like you would need a bit of hand-holding. Um, like, it's doing alright. Have any of you been, um, super enamored by anything? Like, anything catching your eye? Like, not just with the idea brainstorming, just in general. Yeah, like, there's the others were a little bit hard. I think 10 out yeah, idea 10 is probably the nearest. Um, and that might be, obviously I did very, like, off the cuff prompting, but it's hard to know when you've not got anything to compare to. So we'll have to keep this test in mind for the next model that we do. If Gemini 3 comes out soon, please. Um, yeah, does anyone have any comments? If not, I think I'll probably close it here. I think we've looked at the prose quality. We've seen that it depends. I actually thought, before this stream, I was kind of like, "Oh, it's just very abrupt." But it seems as soon as I went into that other story, it went really wordy. So maybe this abrupt style was a style mimic, although it didn't seem to read the genres that well. So I'm not sure. I'm a little today's stream has actually changed my um opinion, I guess. It might be that the less information you give, the more abrupt it is. That could be something. But I mean, even with these, which were 400, 485, 700, 600, 400, it all depends. It's very genre dependent. So I'm not sure, really. I'm a little bit like on the fence now. Um, so yeah. Dulce says, I liked a couple of the comedy ones, but I didn't hear the prompt. Oh, so the prompt was, I want to write a story about an alien anti-hero on Earth who accidentally becomes famous after saving people, and that was just like a collateral incident. So it was a little bit comedy vibes, but I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more. Um, yeah, so I've heard that it's coming out kind of in the next couple of weeks. But on the other hand, we also heard 22nd of October, and then it was delayed. So all I know is that on Twitter they are trolling us with it at the moment, the Google developers and stuff, the Gemini developers. So it's promising. But yeah, so thank you everyone for coming. This is great. I guess I'll see you if Gemini is coming out next week. If not, I've got something prepared. I'll get a blog post out on this hopefully Monday, Tuesday. I've got some more thoughts I need to put in now. I'm torn. I liked I had higher opinions of it before, and now I'm like, oh, it kind of really gets into the purpley prose. Like it does need that bit more of oh yeah. Um I'm gonna have to have a think. Yeah. So yeah, I'll see you later. Bye everyone.